Welcome to Galactic Nova Stories, where cosmic emotions come to life. Your journey begins now. The cold glow of distant stars stretches across the endless black of space. The hum of the spacecraft's engines reverberates in the walls, a sound so familiar it's become a comforting backdrop for Leah, the young scientist who has spent more nights than she can count alone in this silent, infinite void. She stares out the large observation window, her face reflected in the glass, the starlight flickering across her tired eyes. The stars are distant, impossibly far, but to her they feel closer than anything on Earth. They are as unreachable as her past, and yet they hold her captive, drawing her in. Leah's hands rest lightly on the edge of the window, her fingers tracing the invisible line of a far-off planet. It's a planet she's studied countless times, a planet she's become obsessed with, its mysterious energy calling out to her like a song she doesn't fully understand. But today, as she gazes out, it feels different, lonelier. Her breath fogs the glass for a moment before she wipes it away absently, lost in thought. The mission she's on is critical, and yet all she feels is an overwhelming weight, a heavy ache in her chest. The stars are beautiful, but they remind her of everything she's lost. A flicker of movement stirs from across the room. Ilya, the alien scientist accompanying her on this mission, sits at a console bathed in the soft light of a holographic display. His skin, a translucent blue-gray, shimmers faintly under the artificial light. His eyes, deep, almost black, but filled with ancient wisdom, are fixed on her. He has been silent for a while now, as he often is, but Leah can feel his gaze on her, as if he knows her thoughts without her saying a word. It makes her uneasy. She'd never planned on having any companions in space, especially not someone like him, an alien. But here he is, quietly observing, silently sharing this vast emptiness with her. There are no words between them most of the time. They speak in the shared language of science, of curiosity, but never in the language of the heart. And yet she can't help but feel something, a strange pull, something she can't quite place. "I've been watching the stars with you." Ilya's voice breaks through the silence, his words softer than she expects. His accent is melodic, the inflection of his speech different from anything human. "I wonder if the silence speaks to you." "As it speaks to me." Leah blinks, startled by the intimacy of his words. She glances over her shoulder at him, meeting his gaze briefly before quickly looking away. It's a fleeting glance, but enough to make her pulse quicken. He's always watching her, she thinks. Always so patient, so calm. And she's not sure what to make of him yet. She tries to speak, but the words are caught in her throat. She isn't used to being this vulnerable, especially not with someone like him. Instead, she opts for something safer, something she can control. "I find it peaceful," Leah says, her voice barely a whisper. She wonders if she's lying. There's a part of her that does find comfort in the quiet. But there's also an aching emptiness she can't escape. But it also makes me feel small. Ilya's eyes narrow just a fraction, as though considering her words more deeply than she intended. He tilts his head slightly, a curious gesture that seems so natural, yet so alien. He rises from his seat, stepping closer to her, his movements fluid, almost graceful, like a shadow crossing the room. "In the vastness of space," he begins, his voice soft yet resonant, "we are all small, but we are also infinite, aren't we? Every heartbeat, every breath, every moment we share. That is the only thing that truly matters." Leah's heart skips, a beat at his words. Infinite. A part of her wants to argue, to push back against this alien idea of interconnectedness, of cosmic significance. But there's something in his voice, something so gentle that makes her pause. She doesn't have the words to argue with him. She doesn't have the energy. Maybe, just maybe, he's right. For a long moment they stand there, the silence stretching between them like a bridge built from their shared solitude. Ilya's gaze remains steady, unwavering, as though he's waiting for her to say something, anything. But Leah doesn't trust herself to speak. She doesn't trust the emotions swirling within her, emotions she doesn't know how to name, let alone share. "Do you believe in connection, Leah?" Ilya asks, his voice quiet but cutting through the tension like a thread. She blinks at the sudden question. It's unexpected, vulnerable. She almost wants to laugh, to dismiss the idea entirely, but she doesn't. She simply stares at him, her mind a jumble of thoughts. She thinks of her past, of lost love, of broken relationships, and wonders if the idea of connection has any meaning left for her. After all, what kind of connection could there be between a human and an alien? It's absurd. But Ilya's eyes are so intent on her, so full of something she can't quite decipher. He's waiting for an answer, and in that moment, she realizes that perhaps just maybe this question, his question, isn't just about connection between species. It's about the connection between the two of them. She opens her mouth to speak, but the words get caught. She can't do it. She's too afraid of the possibility of misunderstanding. Too afraid that whatever she says will forever change this fragile thing between them. I don't know, she finally manages, the words coming out quieter than she expected. I don't know what to believe anymore. Ilya doesn't push. Instead, he simply watches her, his gaze softening. A silence falls between them again, but this time it's different. It's not uncomfortable, it's gentle. Without another word, Ilya's lips curve into a smile. It's slow, subtle, but it reaches his eyes, lighting them with a warmth that feels like a quiet promise. He doesn't say anything more, but in that smile, Leah feels something shift. Her heart stutters in her chest, her breath catching. That smile. It's not just a smile, is it? Could it be something more? In the stillness, she recalls all the gestures of affection she's learned over the years. Human gestures. A smile, a touch, an unspoken promise. But this smile is different. This smile feels like an invitation. Could it be a proposal? Her heart races at the thought. The idea blooms in her chest like a spark, but she immediately quashes it. No, it's impossible. This is an alien. They have no customs like ours. How could he possibly be proposing? And yet, as she watches Ilya turn toward the door, his back to her now, a sense of longing fills her. She wants to ask him. She wants to say something, anything, to break this uncertainty. But the words won't come. Maybe, Ilya's voice floats back to her as he pauses at the door, his back still turned. Maybe the universe will reveal its answers when you least expect them. Leah stares at his retreating figure, her mind whirling. The smile? Was it a sign? Or had she misunderstood everything? Her hand trembles slightly as she brushes a lock of hair from her face. No. She's not ready to confront whatever this is, not yet. But the question lingers. The possibility lingers. And in the silence of space, with only the stars to witness, Leah finds herself caught between fear and hope. Every great bond starts with a single moment of courage. Galactic Nova Stories is just beginning, and your support matters. If you love emotional sci-fi tales, forbidden connections, and stories that stay with you, hit subscribe. It's free, and it helps us bring more stories from the stars to you. The days blur into one another as the quiet stretches on. The ship drifts through the black expanse, its engines humming with a soft, constant rhythm. Leah spends her time poring over data, research on the planets they've encountered, stellar anomalies, and the strange energy signatures that have drawn them to this remote sector of the galaxy. But even as she works, her mind is constantly pulled back to that moment, the smile. It keeps replaying in her mind like a song on repeat. Ilya's smile. It wasn't anything extraordinary, not in a world of advanced technology and alien races. Yet for some reason, it felt like a turning point, an unspoken gesture laden with meaning. Every time she tries to focus on her work, that moment invades her thoughts, and with it a growing sense of confusion. Was it a mistake? Was it a cultural misstep? Or was it truly a proposal? A question she wasn't sure she was ready to answer. Leah finds herself stealing glances at Ilya more and more, searching for any hint, any sign that might clarify things. But he remains as enigmatic as ever. His eyes are always calm, always distant, never revealing his emotions. His demeanor is steady, composed. He never mentions the smile again, never acknowledges it. and Leah can't tell if that's a relief or a source of more anxiety. One evening, as the dim light of the artificial day cycle fades into the soft glow of artificial night, Leah finds herself sitting alone at the ship's observation deck. The view is breathtaking, an ocean of stars, infinite and vast, stretching as far as the eye can see. She leans forward, her arms folded on the glass, watching, as distant nebulas swirl in the dark void. Her thoughts are heavy, swirling like the nebulae outside. Ilya, she whispers under her breath, the name soft but sharp in the silence. And just as if on cue, the door slides open behind her. She doesn't need to turn around to know it's him. She can feel his presence, his stillness, the way he occupies the space around him. "I didn't mean to disturb you." Ilya's voice is calm, yet there's a hint of something more, an awareness that wasn't there before. "I couldn't help but notice. You've been spending a lot of time here." Leah doesn't respond immediately. Her fingers trace the cool edge of the glass, the stars reflecting back at her, as if they, too, are waiting for her to speak. She feels the weight of his gaze on her, but she doesn't want to meet it. Not yet. Not until she figures out what this strange pull between them really is. "I come here to think," Leah says finally, her voice tight. She can feel her heart rate quicken. This conversation is inevitable. She's been avoiding it for days, but now it's here, just as she knew it would be. "I understand." Ilya's tone is carefully neutral, but his eyes never leave her. She can feel his presence next to her now, standing just a few feet away. His silhouette, framed by the distant stars, feels like a shadow, a constant reminder of the uncertainty that looms between them. Leah takes a deep breath, steeling herself. "I've been wondering—" She hesitates, the words heavy in her mouth. "About what happened the other day. Your smile." Ilya's expression flickers, just the faintest shift, a pause before he speaks again. His voice is gentle but direct, his words carefully chosen. "I smiled because I wanted to share something with you. But if I have made you uncomfortable, I apologize." Leah's breath catches in her throat. She wasn't prepared for this, not for his calmness, his acknowledgement of the discomfort that now lingers between them. Her heart sinks a little, the hope she had clinging to the edge of her chest like a fragile thread. Could she have been wrong? Could she have misunderstood everything? What if it wasn't a proposal after all? I thought—" Leah's voice falters, her emotions threatening to spill over. She struggles to keep her composure. "I thought maybe it was a proposal, that you were—" She stops herself, biting her lip as the heat rises in her cheeks. The vulnerability she feels now is raw, exposed. For the first time, Ilya seems to pause, as though considering her words with deep care. There's a flicker of something in his eyes, an emotion Leah can't quite read. A proposal. His voice is almost amused, but not in a mocking way. More like he's trying to understand the human concept that has suddenly entered the conversation. "I see." The silence between them stretches, thick and heavy, and Leah's mind races. She wants to apologize, to take back her words, to retreat to the safety of the cold silence that had existed between them before. But she can't. The moment is here, and there's no going back. She's opened the door to something new, and she has to walk through it even if it terrifies her. "I didn't mean to confuse you," Ilya says, his voice unexpectedly soft. "In my culture, smiles are not associated with proposals. They are simply a gesture of warmth, a way to share a moment of connection." Leah listens, but she feels a pang in her chest. She had truly thought, that this might be the start of something between them. Maybe it was foolish to believe that an alien so different from her could share anything like the affection she craved. "I don't know much about your customs," Leah admits, her voice quieter now. "But I thought maybe we were closer than that, maybe something else." Ilya steps closer, his movements fluid, almost delicate. For a moment, Leah feels a flicker of warmth, of hope, that maybe this moment will be the one where they truly connect. But instead of rushing in, Ilya does something unexpected. He places a hand gently on the glass beside hers, their fingers just a breath apart. "It seems we have misunderstood each other," he says, the words carrying a weight far heavier than she expected. But perhaps in the vastness of this universe, misunderstanding is inevitable. It is a part of the journey. Leah looks at the glass between them, the invisible barrier that keeps them apart. She wants to reach out, to close that distance. But something holds her back, the uncertainty, the fear. What if she's wrong again? What if she's misreading everything? Ilya's voice breaks through her thoughts. "I did not intend to propose, Leah, but I do wish to share this journey with you. However you define that." Leah looks at him then, really looks at him. There's no mask, no pretense, just a quiet sincerity in his eyes that sends a shiver down her spine. She doesn't know what to say, but she knows this. She's afraid to move forward, afraid of what this connection might mean. But for the first time in days, she feels a flicker of something she hadn't allowed herself to feel for so long. Hope. The silence between Leah and Ilya lingers long after their conversation ends, as though the ship itself is holding its breath. Leah doesn't know what to do with herself anymore. The emotional chaos she's been trying to suppress for weeks now surges to the surface, bubbling up with every passing second. She spends her days running through data, analyzing the mission, parameters, cataloging stellar phenomena, anything to keep her mind occupied. But nothing works. The weight of the unspoken lingers, like a dense fog that clouds her every thought. Ilya, on the other hand, seems unaffected. He continues his duties with his usual calm composure, never once addressing the tension in the air. To Leah, it's as if he's already moved on, already accepted the reality of their relationship, one that is both distant and impersonal, but also strangely close. She catches glimpses of him at odd moments, like when he's sitting in the mess hall, his attention absorbed in a book from his home world, something with sleek silver pages that shimmer under the artificial light. Or when he's standing at the observation deck late at night, staring out into the cosmos, his posture so straight and perfect it almost looks like he's listening to the stars themselves. Sometimes, when she looks at him, it feels like he's more a part of the universe than she could ever be, a piece of something vast, something ancient, and it makes her feel small, insignificant. One evening, Leah finds herself alone again in the observation room, staring at a new planet on the ship's scanner. It's a lifeless rock, barren and grey, but it calls to her for reasons she can't quite explain. She runs her fingers over the smooth surface of the console, her thoughts drifting, but then a sound, a soft thud, draws her attention. She turns, half expecting to see Ilya standing there, but instead she finds the room empty. Her heart sinks. For a moment she wonders if this loneliness is something she'll always have to carry, whether human or alien companionship will ever be enough. The weight of her isolation presses down on her chest. Just as she's about to turn back to the planet, the door opens with a soft hiss. It's Ilya. He's standing in the doorway, his posture relaxed but somehow watchful. His eyes lock with hers, and for a long moment neither speaks. It's a moment of shared understanding, two souls caught in the same quiet space, each navigating a distance neither fully comprehends. "I thought you might want to see this," Ilya says, his voice breaking the silence. He gestures toward the window where the planet now looms closer, its surface crackling with strange energy. Leah raises an eyebrow, intrigued but also wary. She's never seen anything like this before. The planet doesn't just look lifeless, it feels wrong. There's a pulsating, unnatural aura surrounding it, and Leah can feel it even from here, from the safety of the ship. "What is it?" she asks, her voice steady, but a small shiver runs down her spine. "I'm not entirely sure," Ilya admits, his gaze now fixated on the planet. "But I've been studying it. The energy signatures are unlike anything I've encountered. It's as if the planet itself is alive." Leah feels a chill creep into her bones. "Alive?" she repeats, her voice barely above a whisper. "That's not possible." Ilya looks at her then, his eyes soft, though there's something guarded in them. "We don't know everything about this universe, Leah. Not yet, not by a long shot. There's something in his voice, something deeper than his words that catches her off guard. She knows he's not just talking about the planet anymore. He's talking about them, about their relationship. The same uncertain ground they're both standing on, trying to understand a connection they don't fully comprehend. Leah swallows. Hard, the tension between them thickening. The words she wants to say, wants to ask, are tangled in her throat, like a knot she can't undo. She's afraid. She's always been afraid of letting herself trust, of letting herself feel. The fear of vulnerability has always been a cage, and she's spent so long locked inside it. But with Ilya, something is different. She doesn't know what it is, but she can feel it. The pull, the strange warmth that draws her closer, even as it scares her. "I don't know if I can do this," Leah murmurs, her voice barely audible, her eyes fixed on the planet. "I don't know if I can let myself get close to you. It's too dangerous, Ilya. We're too different." Ilya doesn't move at first, and Leah's heart skips a beat. Is this where he pulls away? Where he realizes that this human-alien thing is just too much to overcome? But then he steps forward, closing the distance between them. There's no hesitation, no sign of uncertainty, just the quiet intensity of his presence, like a force she can't escape. "I don't know if we're too different," Ilya says softly, his voice so gentle it almost feels like a caress. "But I do know that what we share, this—" He pauses, as if weighing his words carefully. "This connection, it's not something I can walk away from. Not anymore." Leah's breath catches in her throat. The proximity between them now feels almost electric, like the air is charged with something they can't name. Her pulse quickens, and her heart is pounding. In her ears. She wants to pull back, to retreat into the safety of her own walls, but her feet don't move. She stands there, frozen, caught between what she wants and what she fears. "I don't know if I can do this either," Leah whispers, her voice a little stronger now. "But I want to. I want to understand. I want to try." Ilya's eyes soften, a quiet, understanding smile tugging at his lips. "Then we'll take it one step at a time." And in that moment, Leah feels the weight of 1,000 unspoken promises pass between them. It's not a proposal, it's not a promise of forever, but it's a beginning. And that's more than she's had in a long time. They stand there for a while longer, side by side, silently watching the strange planet outside. The strange energy pulsing from it matches the thrum of Leah's own heart, alive, uncertain, but full of potential. The days stretch on as Leah and Ilya continue their delicate dance, a quiet, hesitant progression towards something neither fully understands. The ship drifts closer to the unknown planet, its energy growing stronger with each passing hour. There's a strange pull to it, an otherworldly force that seems to be calling to them. The crew is on edge, and Leah can feel the tension rising, like the calm before a storm. But amid the uncertainty, there's a warmth that slowly begins to unfurl between her and Ilya. They find themselves sharing more moments, quiet exchanges that speak volumes more than words ever could. Leah catches him glancing at her when he thinks she isn't looking. Those moments when their gazes meet and hold, filled with meaning, neither is ready to express aloud. The touch of his hand when he helps her steady herself after a sudden jolt of turbulence. The way their fingers brush ever so lightly when they pass a data pad back and forth. Small things, insignificant to anyone else, but to them, they feel like a shared secret. Yet despite the growing connection, the tension between them is palpable. Leah feels it in every interaction, something unspoken, something that neither of them can fully acknowledge. She's afraid of what might happen if she allows herself to be vulnerable, afraid of the uncertainty of the future, of the cultural differences that could tear them apart, afraid of trusting someone who might not understand her the way she needs to be understood. And then one day it happens. The planet is now within reach, its strange pulsating energy making the ship's systems flicker and hum with increasing intensity. The crew is busy preparing for a landing attempt, scanning for any signs of life, any anomalies that might pose a threat. Leah and Ilya work side by side, their quiet companionship a comfort, but neither speaks of the tension between them. It's as though they both know it's there, but neither is willing to address it directly. Leah stands at the ship's control console, her fingers dancing across the holographic screens, adjusting their trajectory. She can feel Ilya standing behind her, his presence a steady warmth at her back, but she can't bring herself to turn and face him. "I don't think we're alone on this planet," Leah mutters, her voice low, focused on the data in front of her. The scans are showing anomalies, unnatural patterns that don't align with the planet's known composition. There's something alive down there, something beyond the planet's surface, but it doesn't make sense. The energy signatures don't match anything they've encountered before. Ilya steps closer, his breath warm against her neck as he looks over her shoulder at the screens. "You think it's intelligent life?" Leah hesitates, her heart racing. She's not sure what to think. The readings are unlike anything she's ever encountered. The patterns are too intricate, too deliberate. It's as if whatever is down there is watching them, waiting for them to make the next move. "Maybe," she says, voice tinged with uncertainty. "But it's not like anything I've ever seen." Ilya's eyes narrow, his usually calm demeanor now slightly cracked. "We should be cautious," he warns, his tone firm. "We don't know what kind of influence this planet's energy could have on us." Leah nods, but inside, she feels something else stirring. An urge, a compulsion, to explore, to understand what lies beneath the surface. Something about the planet's strange aura calls to her, beckoning her to uncover its secrets. It's as though she can't ignore it, even if she tries. The ship touches down on the planet's surface with a soft tremor. The ground beneath them is rocky, uneven, covered in a thick layer of dust and strange glowing crystals. The air is heavy with static, a strange hum that seems to reverberate through their bodies. The energy here is palpable, almost alive in its intensity. The planet seems to pulse with it, a rhythm that matches the beating of Leah's heart. Leah and Ilya, along with a small team, prepare to venture outside. The airlock opens with a hiss, and they step into the unknown, their boots crunching against the rocky surface. The planet feels eerily still, as though everything is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. Leah glances at Ilya as they walk side by side. There's an unspoken agreement between them, a silent understanding that this moment is important, far more than either of them is willing to admit. "What if this planet is trying to communicate with us?" Leah says, quietly, her voice carrying a mix of wonder and fear. "What if it's not a warning but a message?" Ilya looks at her then, his eyes searching hers. "If it is a message, we should be careful about how we interpret it. We may not be prepared for what it has to say." Leah swallows hard, feeling the weight of his words settle over her like a blanket of unease. The atmosphere here is too heavy, too charged with unknowns, and yet she can't shake the feeling that this is the moment that will change everything. They move deeper into the landscape, the eerie glow of the crystals casting an unnatural light around them. And then it happens. A tremor shakes the ground, stronger this time, and the energy signature from below spikes violently. The air crackles with static, and Leah's heart skips a beat as the ground beneath them begins to shift. Something is coming. Something big. Ilya grabs her arm, pulling her to safety just as a massive rock formation crashes to the ground, sending a shockwave of dust and debris into the air. The ship's external sensors begin to overload, the warning systems blaring a frantic alarm. Leah's breath catches in her throat as she stumbles back wide-eyed. "What the hell was that?" she gasps, her voice rising in panic. Ilya's expression is hard, his eyes scanning the chaos around them. "It's a response," he says, his voice low and tense. "The planet, it's reacting to our presence." Leah looks around, her senses overwhelmed by the sudden chaos. The ground beneath them begins to tremble again, more violently this time, and the glowing crystals pulse with a blinding light. She feels the energy surge around them, like it's alive, like it's aware of them. "It wants us to leave," Leah says, her voice shaking with the realization. "It's warning us." But before she can say anything more, the ground shakes again. This time it's not just a tremor. The very surface of the planet begins to crack open, revealing something darker, deeper. A massive, swirling vortex of energy forms beneath them, its pull growing stronger with each passing second. Leah and Ilya lock eyes. The moment of calm they shared, the fragile understanding they'd built, unravels in an instant. Their fragile connection, already strained by unspoken words and fears, is now put to the test by the alien force before them. They don't know if they'll survive what's coming. But in that split second, everything they've felt, every emotion, every hesitation, feels more fragile than the ground beneath their feet. "Move!" Ilya shouts, grabbing Leah's hand and pulling her towards the ship. They race back toward the ship, the vortex of energy threatening to consume everything in its path. Behind them, the planet's surface cracks further, the air thick with the hum of an ancient power awakening. The vortex of energy beneath them roars like a living creature, a monstrous force of nature that defies all logic and understanding. Leah and Ilya race toward the ship, the ground beneath them shaking violently, sending dust and debris into the air like a storm tearing through the sky. Every step is a battle against the growing pull of the energy swirling in the planet's core, threatening to rip them apart. The ship's hull groans, its systems failing one by one as the external sensors overload, screaming in protest. Leah's heart is pounding in her chest, each breath coming in shallow gasps as she feels the heat of the vortex growing closer, the energy crackling through the air like an electric storm. She looks at Ilya, her thoughts a whirlwind of confusion and fear. What is this? What does it want from them? And why is it pulling them together, even as the planet itself seems to tear them apart? "Ilya!" she cries out, her voice strained with panic. "We have to—" "I know," Ilya snaps, pulling her closer as the wind howls around them. His grip on her hand tightens, the touch fierce and desperate, as though he's trying to anchor her to him, to something that's real amidst the chaos. "We're getting out of here. Hold on." But even as he speaks, the planet seems to resist them. The vortex surges again and the ground cracks open wider, its deep hollow roar filling the air. The ship looms in front of them, but it feels like an eternity away. The distance stretches impossibly long, every step weighed down by the force pulling them backward, threatening to swallow them whole. Leah's mind is spinning. The connection she felt with Ilya, those fleeting, tender moments of understanding, seem so distant now, swallowed by the chaos of the moment. She can't breathe. The air is thick with static, the energy of the planet suffocating her. Her mind is racing, torn between the fear of losing him and the panic that their time together has already run out. She can't keep running from this. She can't keep pretending like there isn't something between them, something real. "Ilya, stop!" she shouts, jerking to a halt, her pulse racing. "We can't keep running. This isn't just the planet, it's us. It's everything we've been avoiding." Ilya doesn't stop. He keeps pulling her forward, but there's something in his eyes, something soft, something understanding. He knows what she's saying. He's been feeling it too. The tension, the unspoken bond, the fear that has kept them both from confronting what they could be together. "I'm not letting you go," Ilya says, his voice raw and his expression unreadable. "I'm not leaving you." And that's when it hits her, the realization, the moment of clarity that cuts through the chaos, the vortex, the fear. She doesn't want to run anymore, not from him, not from the bond they share. The storm inside her heart, the one she's tried so hard to suppress, is real. It's been there all along, growing with every passing moment. She pulls him to a stop, turning to face him fully. Her chest rises and falls with each breath, but her voice is steady now, even as the world around them threatens to collapse. "Ilya," she breathes, her eyes searching his. "We can't outrun this. We can't outrun what we feel. I'm not afraid of the planet. I'm afraid of what's inside of me, what I feel for you." For a heartbeat, everything freezes. The wind, the vortex, the roiling chaos of the planet, all of it falls away as their eyes lock. Leah feels the depth of the connection, a pull, stronger than gravity itself, more powerful than any force in the universe. This moment, this truth between them is undeniable, and it's everything. It's the risk, the leap into the unknown that they've both been avoiding. Ilya's expression softens, the hardness in his eyes giving way to something infinitely more vulnerable. "Leah," he whispers, stepping closer, his hand reaching for hers. "I don't know if we're ready for this, but I know that I can't go back. Not now. Not when everything I need is right here." The sound of the vortex intensifies again, the pull of the planet's energy reaching a deafening crescendo. Leah feels it, feels the entire planet shaking beneath them, the final attempt of the world to keep them from each other. But it's too late. She knows it now. She knows that no force, not even the planet itself, can stand against what's been born between them. The connection is real, and it's worth everything. With a sudden rush, they break into a sprint, running toward the ship as the ground begins to collapse beneath them, sending rocks and debris into the air. The vortex pulses once more, but it's no longer pulling at them. It's as if the planet has given up, surrendering to the power of their bond. They reach the ship, and without a second thought, Ilya drags Leia into the airlock, his hands urgent, but gentle as they seal the hatch behind them. The roar of the planet's energy is muffled now, replaced by the steady hum of the ship's systems coming to life. They collapse into the control seats, both of them panting, their hearts still, racing but now with a sense of relief. The chaos is over, but the storm inside them, that's just beginning. Leia looks at Ilya, her breath still coming in uneven bursts. Her eyes are wide, a mixture of disbelief and awe. "We made it," she whispers, almost to herself. Ilya nods, but there's something in his eyes, something he hasn't said yet. It's the same thing Leia feels, the same realization that's been waiting for both of them to acknowledge it. "Yeah," he says softly, "we made it, together." And in that moment, the uncertainty that's been weighing on both of them seems to lift. They're not there yet, not by a long shot, but they're no longer afraid of the unknown. They've crossed that threshold, and whatever comes next, whatever the universe throws at them, they'll face it side by side. The ship ascends from the planet's surface, its engines roaring to life, carrying them away from the storm below. The stars ahead shimmer brightly, a new journey unfolding before them. Leia glances at Ilya, her heart full, her thoughts racing. There's so much more to explore, more to understand. The galaxy is vast, full of dangers and mysteries, but now it's also full of possibilities. And with Ilya by her side, she knows she's ready to face whatever comes next, together. If this story moved you, share it with someone who loves. Powerful tales from distant worlds. Don't forget to like and let us know in the comments, what would you have done? Would you have trusted the unknown or run from it?